graduated, and during graduation he wanted to do the MBBS, and he wanted to do medical after 12th.
Right.
So by just 1 mark, he had not qualified for that.
And he started AIMIL, I think, on 30th November 1984, correct me if I'm wrong. And from 1 CR, guys, the first turnover I read somewhere was 1 CR, to the journey of 550 CR. I'm talking about AIMIL Jagran.
Yeah.
So as a kid, I attended a couple of AIMIL Jagrans. You were having one of the biggest Jagran, I think, in Delhi NCR at that time. It was the thought that he started his own company, and where from the capital was there. It has been like, again, he saved money. Sorry to ask this, but for our young youth, it should be some tips or lessons from you, please. Hello, all of you. I am Dr. 𝐀𝐲𝐮𝐫𝐬𝐡𝐚𝐽, hosting the first episode of Ayurdarshan. So I am very much happy and pleased to inform all of you about this launch. And we will have some discussions, we will have some casual talks, we will have industry leaders, senior doctors, allopathic doctors, Ayurveda doctors, Ayush, homeopathy, Siddha, Unani yoga doctors, healers, sometimes politicians, KOL, stakeholder, many more people will come to this platform in future episodes. But today I am very much excited to share this piece of information that our first guest, I think it's a lucky charm for me as well, when you will know about Sanchit. So he's our first guest on Ayurdarshan, and we welcome you, Sanchit. Sanchit Sharma ji, in fact, sorry, Dr. Sanchit Sharma is a doctorate in pharma from a very renowned, by the way, college of our country, that is Jamia Hamdard, right?
Yeah, correct. Jamia.
And he is right now the executive director of AIMIL Pharma Limited as well. It's limited or private limited, by the way?
Indian Limited.
Great. It's limited company. Great. So it's a limited company now. I think 550 crore right now.
Yeah. So 550 plus.
So he is, along with his brother Ikshit ji, is handling the entire company right now.
Yeah.
And you will be very pleased to know, and to my audience. So I think 2 years after my birth, around 2.5 years after my birth, on 30th November 1984, his dad, Mr. 𝐀𝐲𝐮𝐫𝐬𝐡𝐚 ji, I think launched this company, Sanchit?
Yeah, 1984, he launched the company.
Are you aware about, so just tell us about those days, or if your father, your mother, some interesting facts, or some your father's struggle days, if you can know more about your father, Mr. 𝐀𝐲𝐮𝐫𝐬𝐡𝐚 ji, through this journey, please, all platforms.
Yeah, no, the company started in 1984 by my father, Shri 𝐀𝐲𝐮𝐫𝐬𝐡𝐚, and I was born in 1988. So so whatever stories I know is because from my mother, my father, and my grandmother. So the story dates back when my grandmother, she was left with 5 children, and our grandfather had passed away at a very early age, and when my father was just 3 years old. So she had to,
So sorry to interrupt. It was like some, I think, about due to partition or what, like?
Not due to partition, but it was
your family was not affected by partition.
It was affected, definitely, because my grandmother had moved to, she had to struggle a lot. She did a course on nursing, and she was a nurse. So our history dates back to the medical fraternity from more than like 50 years now. So she was a nurse. And
your grandmother was a nurse.
Yeah, my grandmother was a nurse.
Great.
And she used to get the deliveries done, and many times she used to tell me about the deliveries that she used to go do. She used to walk, I think, 30-40 kilometers a day to do those deliveries. And she had raised the children, 4 of them, and 5, in fact, 1 sister and 4 brothers, and one of my father's father. And so she raised in a very struggling phase that was, and when my father then graduated, and during graduation he wanted to do the MBBS, and he wanted to do medical after 12th.
Right.
So by just 1 mark he had not qualified for that, and he did BSc then.
Okay.
And that is why he was very disappointed at that time. But he's a very positive person and never said I could do. And so then he did BSc, and that was the fate basically. After doing his BSc, then he became a medical representative. And
so just to interrupt you here, so I have read somewhere that your father was a medical started. So just to know this, guys. By the way, on the previous aspect, all the families of nurses in this country should get inspiration and motivation that a grandson of a nurse is sitting here today with us, heading a 550 CR company. Excellent. Sorry, there are other companies and their valuation is getting much bigger. We'll talk about that later. So now to coming up to that point again, your father was like a medical representative, started I think his career as a medical representative, and then raised to a certain level in a very leading, by the way, top Ayurveda company of this country. And then he started AIMIL, I think, on 30th November 1984, correct me if I'm wrong. And from 1 CR, guys, the first turnover I read somewhere was 1 CR, to the journey of 550 CR. It's an interesting, I think, now around 40 years of journey of AIMIL. So we will learn more about this journey, what exactly as an entrepreneur, you have tips for the startups or the budding entrepreneurs. You people are still bootstrapped. So on those aspects, you have started one new brand, Ayurveda. Your brother is handling veterinary, so vast. So we'll come again on that. So okay, so your father started this. So just from your father started this company till your time of birth, those days, if you are having some maybe remembrance from your father or mother, they have told you.
So my father wanted to be a doctor. So just by 1 mark he was immersed. Then he did BSc and then started his career as a medical representative. And then being a successful medical representative, then he started the business of distribution. And then he had launched AIMIL Pharmaceuticals in 1984. And whatever I know, what I've been told and for those days, he had learned Ayurveda a lot because he did not know anything about technical about Ayurveda till then, before 1980 maybe.
So a science graduate learning about Ayurveda in 84. Great. A science graduate learning about Ayurveda in 1984.
Yeah, just before that. And he had a lot of vendors consulting him. He's a fond reader of many books, many textbooks. So I think whatever he has learned, knowledge he has learned from the textbooks is immense. And from the vendors, he used to tell that he used to take classes. Basically, still our office in Patel Nagar, in that office, he used to take classes from vendors.
Okay.
How to prepare the syrup, how to prepare 𝐾𝐲𝐮𝐫𝐽, how to prepare those gutikas. So he used to take classes. Great. In the morning and the afternoon time, he used to do marketing and everything. And the evening time, he used to consult with different Vaidyas. And a lot of Vaidyas had used to come teach my father, and because of his learnings, he used to make notes, then reading books, and moreover, not only just about Ayurveda, but also the modern aspects. He had his forte basically in all the latest research, whatever is going on. I remember in 1988, we launched 𝐀𝐲𝐮𝐫𝐽, which is a liver preparation and doing really well now. And at that time, it's a 50 crore plus.
50 crore brand, really good.
And at that time also, he had launched the product with a product literature, with the research studies. So we had a person basically for the at that time there was no Google, the research were not available readily.
Yes,
there was a person kept for basically just to fetch those research papers from the libraries, the national government outlines, models, the books, the latest research paper, from the Lancet. The Lancet, we talk about Lancet a lot these days. At that time, 1988, just think about getting those papers, the research papers at that time, and then abstracting them, then using it in our research products.
So tell me about one query I have. So you were telling us that journey of those days in 80s, late 80s you are saying, 84, after 84, that you had a team where they were going to all these libraries, offline model, and checking the research. My question is, in those days, do we, you have some information that some herbal research was going on in those countries in offline mode, if we can because I have seen some British Medical Journal papers of late 1880s or 1840s in their archival section, and we have found that they were doing some paper on hemp and mentioning Indian ganja there, and they have also documented that they've given to their queen for dysmenorrhea, pain management, when we were doing that. So, do you have any idea about that offline model in those 80s having herbal research, or you were doing allopathic research at that time?
No, herbal research. Herbal research was my father used to tell me that he used to talk about his work in Ayurveda. People used to tell, okay, यार ये तो तू घास फूस वाली कंपनी में है, ठीक है, अच्छा, घास फूस वाली कंपनी के नाम से जाना जाता है, घास फूस. So that this is how we were, the perception in 1980s. So he had a mission that will prove it in a scientific and research way. And there was a paper in the Lancet on Phenanthus amorus, which we know as Guyamalki, Guyamla, which is a excellent liver toxin, on viral hepatitis. At that time also the herbal research was going on. That was coming through the West, basically. And that is what we had, that we will agree whatever is the West is saying. So the research was going on. And that research was not going on in India. Now in India, we are having a lot of research institutes, a lot of research is going on. But at that time, getting that research from the different institutes and then the libraries, the physical copies of those, we still have those copies from 1980. So herbal research was going on at that time also, but very few were knowing about that.
So can we have that? So it's a very interesting point, as Sanchit mentioned today in our platform, that his team is having the archival in the offline model in terms of the late 80s or 90s research studies. So I request on the behalf of Ayurdarshan team or Indian Religious team that if you can collaborate and let's make the entire thing digital, maybe on doctor access, they can access and see those kind of research as well. And so that they can connect, because sometimes I have seen, I will start now pitching or maybe talking about some case studies which as a doctor I have gone through from your products. And but before that, I want to touch upon, so we understood about your dad a bit till now. We understood how he started and did the research.
It's not very difficult to understand him fully because he is he's master of all, be it marketing, be it research, be it self-reading, be it as a leader, he has led the company so well. Team management, man management, they're not learn from him. And I think he's still not done, still very much active with the work and still working really hard to take him in the higher grade.
Great, nice. So you guys need to understand here, all the founders, all the budding founders or startups, that a founder is doing in the morning learning. He's handling the manufacturing department. He's handling the sales and marketing department. He's handling the creative department. He's handling multiple departments in the company as a bootstrapped startup founder. By the way, who funded AIMIL, if I can ask this question, or in the journey of MR in those days, I remember, because my father was also in pathology and in government job, but it was very challenging to have some capital to start a business or a risk or a courage. So maybe if you can understand, if you have some idea that how your father got that kind of courage or maybe risk he has taken from a well-settled job in a leading Ayurveda company, maybe he must be earning a good amount in that salary as well or incentives. He was performing very well, which I have researched. So what was the thought that he started his own company, and where from the capital was there? It has been like, again, he saved money. Sorry to ask this, but for our young youth, it should be some tips or lessons from you, please.
So basically, he used to earn a lot of incentive.
Okay.
That is how he saved money.
Great.
And then the distribution business that he started off, he was, before starting AIMIL, he was into distribution.
Acha.
And then he used to make
just a second. Medical representative, then distributor, and then the owner of the company.
Yes.
This is the journey. Excellent.
Yeah, it's medical representative, then working as a distributor, and then the owner of AIMIL Pharmaceuticals. And there were a lot of godfathers who had helped him in his journey. And definitely funding used to be very scarce at that time. Today we get a lot of VCs and everything, but at that time it is only the godfathers who had helped. So they were godfathers, and he always is very much grateful to them. And though people who have helped him through his journey. So his own savings were there when he started AIMIL, and then along with that, he had people with him, gurus with him, who had helped him.
But apart from that, I think he had that courage or the risk-taking capabilities in those days.
I remember taking capacity in trials, and the courage is still very much active, and that is from since start. He had that courage, because that is what a founder or an entrepreneur must have, is courage and the risk-taking capacity. He had loads of that.
So I want to ask you here, just off the show. So I was a kid. I am from a Punjabi family. We used to visit Vaishno Devi. We used to visit all these religious places. And there was a brand. I think there is a brand till now. I'm not aware what exactly is happening. But I'm talking about AIMIL Jagran.
Yeah.
So as a kid, I attended a couple of AIMIL Jagrans. You were having one of the biggest Jagran, I think, in Delhi NCR at that time.
Correct.
And one of my favorite, which like we have lost now, singer Neha Kakkar. He was the leading person there in your all Jagrans, which I remember as a kid.
Yeah.
And in Vaishno Devi also, you have done so much of contribution. Next time, by the way, all the subscribers, next time you go to Vaishno Devi Navratras, the entire decoration, I repeat, the entire flower decoration, fruits decoration, I don't want to quote the money here, but they are spending a lot in doing that. Each and every Navratra season, since which year?
2000. Since 2000.
Guys, since 2000, last 24 years, sponsorship of entire decoration. No, sorry, it's not sponsorship, it's donation or contribution of AIMIL to Vaishno Devi ka Darbar. Entire flowers, fruits. And I have also seen you are doing this in some other temples, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe a couple of times you have done it.
Yeah,
Vinayak or
Vinayak temple we have done.
So if I can ask why, what is the thought process, why you guys are doing this? Is there any, sorry to say this and don't mind, there are many other groups who are connected, many other people who are going to Vaishno Devi Darbar, contributing in their capacity and all. But why this specific thing which I need to understand?
Basically, when we talk about the devotion to Goddess Mata Rani Vaishno Devi Ji, and it is since start. When he was a simple medical representative, my father, he had started doing Jagrans. So we used to have Jagran since 1984. So
your father used to organize those Jagrans?
Oh, the Jagran. Just because in front of our house only, we used to have that tent in the winter season, maybe on my birthday or before or after that.
He is a diehard Matarani Bhakt.
And so those Jagran, basically it is his way of saying thank you.
Yeah.
Because the company AIMIL Pharmaceuticals is basically what my father says is run by Mata Vaishno Devi Ji. So because of the blessings and the blessings of Mata Vaishno Devi Ji only, that is why the company is running so nicely. And the results that AIMIL pharmaceutical products are having, his thinking is that it is because of the blessings of Mata Vaishno Devi Ji, and that is why we are doing really well. So it's always like in a year we will thank Goddess Mata Rani in his own way, because we used to do a lot of Jagrans. Since the very small beginnings, we used to have small Jagrans, then we have medium Jagrans, and then as the company has been growing, has been doing a lot of Jagrans in like 2005, 2006. Many years. Every year there used to be one Jagran, and 2006 there was Jagran in Paschim Vihar, in which the stage was the biggest stage in the Asia. Because in the Limca Book of Records also it is registered in that. So the biggest stage in the at that time, and he fetched a lot of crowds, all the big singers. Neha Kakkar, when she was very small, has been singing at our in AIMIL Jagran.
So guys, Neha Kakkar has performed in AIMIL Jagran as a kid. Great.
Yeah. Even Sunidhi Chauhan.
Great.
When she was used to wear frocks, and she was just 15, 16. I was not aware about this. Sunidhi Chauhan, Sonu Nigam, when he was just only that.
Sonu Nigam I have seen, because I think, again, a very legend leader, we lost him late, Gulshan Kumar ji. he picked up, I think, Sonu Nigam from AIMIL Jagran, some stories.
AIMIL Jagran used to give a lot of singers to
Because he was also connected to Vaishno Devi Darbar.
Yes.
Is there any connection to that or like what?
There's no connection to that, but yes, T-Series had Gulshan Kumarji used to be in search of the new talent that is coming up. And AIMIL Bhagwati Jagran was one platform where new singers could come sing and show their worth.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I used to remember, do you guys have having some tapes of those AIMIL Jagrans? Correct me if I'm wrong, on maybe T-Series, any other?
Yes, we have our own tapes, we have audio tapes, we have our own tapes. And even T-Series also launched 2 or 3 tapes in 2005 and 6. So they have also on these.
So if we want to watch AIMIL Jagran, where we can watch right now?
We have one YouTube page on AIMIL Bhagwati Jagran.
Okay.
So AIMIL Bhagwati.
All the previous Jagrans.
Not all of them, but yes, whatever we could fetch. We have recording. We have recordings. And we have been publishing those Jagrans and clippings of those glorious past. And
those were golden days. I used to remember as a kid, like guys, we were used to awake till 4 or 5 in the morning, attending the entire Jagran. I think these days,
Jagran, I think because of the restrictions by the government,
right?
You cannot have loudspeakers post 10 a.m. and all that. So that
Jagran turned to chokis now.
They have converted into chokis now.
Right.
And we do a lot of seva in the other way. So
right. Great. No. In fact, I will just touch upon this efficacy point, and we now understand. See, there is some superpower is there. So it's not about any religion. You are Hindu, you follow your God, you are Muslim, Sikh, Isai, whatever religion, Jain you have. You follow your God, your superpower, and that superpower always help you to heal, which as a doctor, as a Vaidya, I also recognize some type. And now I understand, but still I want to now discuss here. We have seen, as far as AIMIL medicines are concerned and AIMIL products are concerned, as a doctor, as a, you can say, user also from last 18 years, I can say they are very well in terms of quality, excellent efficacy, whatever efficacy we can achieve with those medicines. What are the reasons? I see your company, and it's not any disclaimer, any endorsement, or I'm not gaining any financial thing in this content, but still you have some level in terms of quality as compared to some or maybe many other companies we use. We use more than 50 till now. So what is the reason for that?
Firstly, it is blessings. That I just told you about. Mata Rani, Vaishno Devi blessings are there in each product of AIMIL Pharmaceuticals. Secondly, it is basically we are maintaining that quality. So our father has just taught us that quality is what speaks for itself. And we use quality ingredients. So basically when you're talking about Ayurvedic proprietary medicine or classical medicines, it starts from the raw material, that the plant material that we are putting in. There's a lot of adulteration which is going on. You can put a lot of confusions with the botanical names. Adulteration is there, and then the right quantity is there, whether we are putting the right quantity or not, the right quality or not. If you talk about basically elaichi is there, cardamom is very commonly used in our household also. There's a lot of quality. I think there are 7 to 8 grades of cardamom that you get from the market.
Right.
7 to 8 grades of kali mirch that you get from the market, which is very commonly used in all the preparations. And what kind of quality we use, it depends on that. So
which grade AIMIL is using?
It is always the best grade. Whatever is.
So you have to try. You're trying to say here that AIMIL products have the best quality cardamom, best quality raw material.
Correct.
Should I put it in this way?
Correct.
So are you sure? Like if you do some quality checks, or
yes.
So by the way, you are a doctorate from pharma.
Yes, Pharmacognosy.
So why from pharma? Like it's your father who has started this business, so you were excited or motivated. You didn't got a thought that you should start a allopathic pharma company after having MPharm and doctorate from one of the leading pharma institute of this country, 𝐀𝐲𝐮𝐫𝐽𝐻 𝐾𝐲𝐮𝐬𝐻. I think many of us who knows about that pharma, they aspire, they motivate seeing 𝐀𝐲𝐻𝐾 in many aspects in terms of pharma research. So why then from allopathy to Ayurveda?
Not from allopathy, because by 2006 I started my B.Pharm.
Okay.
2010 I ended. Till that time I did not know much about Ayurveda, to be frank. Okay. basic knowledge because of my family business was there into the Ayurveda. In 2011, when I had pursued M.Pharm, so I selected phytochemistry as my topic. Okay, not pharma. So I from Pharmacognosy and phytochemistry. That was my topic, and basically that is because of I'm very close to nature. I love gardening. I love flowers. So
phytochemistry means you are doing some science research on herbs, right?
On herbs, plants, basically plants, and so I had a very keen interest on the plants right from start, because since childhood my father is fond of gardening, greenery, and because of the herbal backup that we have.
Now I read somewhere that Mr. K.K. Sharma is having a very good identification knowledge of herbs. Like for example, in our Vedya community also, many of our Vedyas, like me also, I'm very poor in identification of raw material or herbs, to be very frank. I'm a very good clinician. But I have heard somewhere or read somewhere that Mr. K.K. Sharma, your father, or maybe you or your brother, anybody, I think he has some skill that he can identify that raw herbs?
Yes, he have, because of he has been in the industry from last 40 years. So he knows what quantity is coming in, because he also going to the manufacturing unit. Purchase, he also is directly connected to the farmers and the dealers.
So still I think he is supervising that.
Still supervising it, and the plant material that is coming in, what kind of plant material that is nice. That is
that supervision
has to be the best quality, and only then we get that results. In the name of Ayurveda, look, we can have different herbal ingredients that can be used, but the right alternatives are always there.
But it does not.
If I give you a very good example of dalchini, which is cinnamomum zelanicum.
Right.
Cinnamomum zelanicum is the dalchini that we talk about in the Ayurvedic system. Right. And then what we use in our kitchen, Indian kitchens, and in India, we're very widely available. It is cinnamomum tamana.
Okay.
It's cinnamomum tamana. A species is stain. This tamana is coming from the Uttarakhand, basically, and the Himalayan region. The cinnamomum zelanicum, which we talk about, to dalchini, the results that dalchini should have, the therapeutic properties that dalchini should have, is from the south. Is from the Kerala or maybe Sri Lanka, or maybe in the different entities of the south, where we get that cinnamomum zelanicum, the correct dalchini, that should be there. But the tamana that we use in the Indian kitchens, it having the same flavor, little different taste, but same flavor, same odor also. And you cannot judge by the odor or the taste that it is different. But all the Indian kitchens are using tamana. And at the same time, the same herb can be toxic also. How? Because when we talk about Ayurveda, say ati, and then the right plant, cinnamomum cassia, is also one species that is coming.
Okay.
Now this species is coming from China, and this is hepatotoxic. This can cause damage to the liver.
Okay.
Now, when we talk about...
Just a second. So Chinese dalchini, what Mr. Sanchit is quoting here is, Chinese dalchini can damage your liver, and maybe we have research or some studies or something.
Yeah, there are a lot of research.
So we'll put that in the comment section if you are interested. But very nice and interesting perspective you have mentioned. Now I want to ask here is, you are criticizing tamala. So people who are doing tamala business or dance business will get angry with you.
No, I'm not criticizing.
Okay.
I'm not criticizing tamala. There are 3 species available. One is zelanicum, one is tamana, one is cassia.
Sure.
So then zelanicum...
Nature we understood is Chinese and toxic.
Yeah, right. Zelanicum is the right dalchini that should be used. Then tamala is something which can be used as a alternate.
But tamala can give aroma flavor,
you are saying, yes.
But therapeutic effects is not there.
Yes.
But it is not toxic.
It is not toxic.
You can use tamala as well.
You can use tamala.
Great.
But it will not give that kind of therapeutic properties that zelanicum is there.
So if you're looking flavor and the aromas, you can have tamala. But if you're looking therapeutic also, the better is the
zelanicum. And then the cassia is that causing hepatotoxin. This is coming up when we are in the COVID time. We launched Ayush Kvat, and cinnamomum zelanicum, which is dalchini, was a very important ingredient in that. And there were 3 Dalchinis available in the market. You can pick any. Now that Zelandicum is having, there is a 250 to 300 rupees per kg difference in Zelandicum and in Tamara. What will you use? If you talk about the commercial terms, you would definitely go for the Tamara because it is not causing any damage, but it is giving you the same aroma and you can use.
I think we can say that Tamala is the basic version of Dalchini and Zelandicum is the premium version of Dalchini.
Correct.
So if you can afford, you can have the premium version, but basic version is always there.
That is how the price difference is there when we talk about the.
So you are trying to say that again, I repeat, AIMIL have all the ingredients of the premium quality.
Premium quality.
So that's where your efficacy is there.
Yes,
great.
Premium quality and the right quality, the right species should be used. Because when we are dealing with the plants and there are a lot of species which are available, this is a very common plant, Dalchini. I have just told about this. There are 3 species. One is highly therapeutic, one is normal aromatic, third one is toxic also. When we talk about someone also these days, there are a lot of allopathic fraternity or modern doctors. They criticize Ayurveda that to take Ayurveda and your liver has been damaged or kidney has been damaged by Ayurveda. So this is a very important topic. What quality, which company and under which Vaidya or doctor you are taking treatment from. If there are wrong treatment, wrong API, even in allopathic drug, even in allopathic drug, if you use the wrong API, which is a substandard API, if you are substandard API if you are using, so you will get toxicity. Similarly with the Ayurveda also, if you are using substandard quality herb or a different species, so then it will not be having that quality or maybe toxic also. So we need to be very much aware that what quality, what company and which Vaidya under which doctor we are taking treatment, quality should be at the core of everything what we do. And at AIMIL we do quality things, and if we will do quality, otherwise we won't do it altogether.
Great. So as far as AIMIL is concerned, and when we talk about your products, I personally from last 18 years seeing some products are performing very well in the terms of patient. So I'm just sharing as a case study or let's say my experience. One of your syrup I used extensively to my CKD patients, Niri KFT. You have 2 versions. Niri, I think, is for renal stone and Niri KFT is for the CKD or kidney disease. But by the way, I hate Niri because Niri is so OTC. So don't mind, we'll come to that aspect as well. But Niri KFT is one of my favorite brands or use a formulation, because when we go to CKD patients, along with standard of care, I heard there is a case study also in AIMS that it is getting beneficial. So you gave Niri KFT or maybe any other formulations you have in your experience. CKD patients can be healed easily in Ayurveda in a many efficacious ways. And I challenge this on record as well. And again, I thanks companies like AIMIL, because we doctors are the warriors. We are battling throughout the day with the diseases. We need our Astra, Shastra, and sometimes Brahmastra like Niri KFT to fight that war. So how it happened, Niri was one of the best selling product. Then you have another version, Niri KFT. What was the idea, thought behind that? And how it is now like being established another syrup of CKD patients countrywide. So tell us about that some.
Niri is a leading product for kidney stones and urinary acids and urinary stones, UTI. And it has been the brand leader in the ORGIMS market, the IOCD surveys. It has been the #1 product and still it is the #1 product, no doubt. Niri KFT is for CKD patients, where patients on high serum creatinine who are progressing towards dialysis. And how this development started is right from our own house, because my mother, she's a patient of rheumatoid arthritis. And in the 1990s, she was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, and she had developed CKD because of the steroidal use. Because at that time,
so she was not using Muscatfort of AIMIL.
At that time, Muscatfort was not launched. I think in 1993.
That's good for RA.
It was good. But at that time, because of the acute management, she had to use steroid.
Okay.
And because of that,
she got CKD.
CKD.
And year?
In 90, It was not immediately, but she had kidney functions had derailed in 1995.
Okay.
In that years. So because of Nidhi already working well on the kidneys, because it is working on the kidney stone. So my father had started researching on the product for kidney disease. So we used to have some basically pantrin wool, which is one of the important ingredient of Nidhi KFT. Different kadas which he had researched out. Then he started reading a lot of books. He conducted a lot of research, and then we used to give to our mother also. And since then, the Nidhi KFT development started, and then we had took I think 10 to 15 years. And in 2015, we were very sure about the results Nidhi KFT is giving, because I am very. I remember that him saying that it could be a big flop or it could be a big hit, because it all depends on the results. Because CKD is something which is very difficult to treat. It has no treatment in allopathy or the modern way. Whenever we used to visit the doctors with our mother, that doctors say that you limit your salt intake, you limit your potassium intake, you have do exercise, yoga or something like that. You have good dietary habits. And that's it. You control your blood pressure, hypertension. That's it. Otherwise, they have no treatment for CKD. So, since then, we were researching, then reading a lot of books. My father has a very strong sixth sense also with terms to the herbs, the herbal ingredient that should be used. So then, Nidhi KFT was developed, and we started with the preclinical studies, and then already our mother was using.
There is a clinical trial also on Nidhi, I think there is.
Nidhi also, we have clinical trials. Nidhi KFT also we have
clinical trials for all your products?
Or majorly we have done for all our products.
Yeah.
We do preclinical studies, we do toxicity studies, we do clinical studies, post-marketing studies.
Achha, so you're doing preclinical, toxicity, clinical, the entire ecosystem of pharma you're following for Ayurveda.
Yes, that is why our pharma experience comes in.
So you didn't told us then why you have selected Ayurveda. So from your pharma background, so sorry you were discussing that.
Yeah, we were discussing for the pharma background. I decided phytochemistry, and because my avid love for the plants and the herbal ingredients and my family business also. So in my M.Pharm, you need to do a research project. So you are allotted a guide under whom you will do the research project. And my guide was researching, because it was phytochemistry, he was doing research on diabetes. All the students under him, we used to work on diabetes. And then if you're working on diabetes, you will also be working on diabetes, because the guide has that expertise. So they will push you for the diabetes. But I went to my guide, I clearly told that I want to work on acne. Okay. I had a very clear goal that I have to develop something for acne.
Herbal preparation
for acne.
In your M.Pharm?
In my M.Pharm. I was very clear. I told that I want to prepare a gel, anti-acne gel, because there is no gel in the market. Because whatever challenges I used to face, because I was a teenager, at that time I used to have acne and I did not find any good cream or gel.
I also remember, I used to apply that, I think calamine, benzoyl peroxide, benzoyl were there. And there was no herbal. So Purodil is your project?
Purodil is by college.
Arey, great. It's an excellent. So guys, Purodil, again, I'm not endorsing here. In my clinic also and across India, one of the highest selling anti-acne, and as a doctor, I recommend, as a doctor, you should get a consultation of a Vaidya. You can download our app by the Indian Vaidyas as well for that. But Purodil is very effective. I think you have very good herbal as well as some ingredients. We'll talk about that in later. But please continue. So you selected anti-acne gel.
Anti-acne gel I developed, and then I started researching on the plant, what kind of plants I can use. So this neem and everything was very common, and if it would have been efficacious, there was no need. So I developed this, and I formed one fruit, Garcinia mangostana. That is a mangosteen fruit, which we find in Thailand or in Kerala or in Sri Lanka. Okay, only in Southeast Asia.
Achha.
So this fruit is a very important fruit, very good for cancer. It has a strong antioxidant properties. And that Garcinia mangostana fruit, Garcinia indica is also available, and Garcinia mangostana is a different.
So again, the different species of Garcinia, right? Great.
Garcinia indica is amalvate. Garcinia mangostana is mangosteen, which
So you are using Garcinia mangostana in your purity.
Purulil, Garcinia mangostana in Purulil. And that alpha mangosteen was a compound that I isolated from the fruit rind of Garcinia mangostana.
So you are the first person to isolate that or what?
No, before that, alpha mangosteen was isolated, but it was not checked for acne.
So you're the first person to check alpha mangosteen on acne.
On acne.
So, okay, so here's the news. So Dr. Sanchit Sharma is the first person who have first person in the country, world, or what I can say?
Country, you can say, because there were reports that people have had researched on the Garcinia mangostana on different properties of Garcinia, antimicrobial properties of Garcinia mangostana, but on the acnegenic bacteria, Propionibacterium acnes and Staphylococcus epidermidis. These are the two bacteria which I had studied on. These are the two bacteria which cause acne, and on that I had checked the efficacy of alpha mangosteen isolated from Garcinia mangostana fruit rinds. So that taking Ayurveda along with the modern way, that was the thought behind. That we know this plant is efficacious, then what is the active component which is required for that. So then I researched out this pyrolyl gel. So this I developed the product. I worked in all the departments: pharmaceutics, pharmacognosy, phytochemistry, analysis, all the instruments in my knowledge. In my university, I had worked on all the instruments. I did an animal study also at that time.
Achha.
Animal study
for this anti-acne gel. So this anti-acne gel is the reason, or we should give the credit to anti-acne gel, herbal anti-acne gel, for you to change your mindset to get into Ayurveda?
This was a transition, 2010, 2011. 2010, by 2010, I was an undergraduate and enjoying my life, playing cricket and doing all those stuff. And that 2010, 2011, I realized that, okay, I have to choose my field, where I should go. Then because of the Ayurvedic family business that we run, and because of my avid love for the nature, for the plants, and then I selected, okay, then I have to develop anti-acne gel in a herbal way. So that is how my interest for Ayurveda and the herbal industry was more deepened. Then I started my journey with AIMIL Pharmaceuticals. After passing out my masters, I developed this anti-acne gel. In my Viva, I had developed that, I had presented that product, fully packed, stability studies done, everything done, all the therapeutic studies, in vivo studies done, at presented in my Viva. And in my M.Pharm, if all the people say that my M.Pharm thesis is equal to my Ph.D. thesis, more than that. So in that, my M.Pharm only had experienced all of the departments, researched out properly. And then in 2013, I started my journey with AIMIL Pharmaceuticals, and then here I learned a lot about Ayurveda, the basics of Ayurveda, and then my interest for Ayurveda, and basically giving solutions for chronic disorders, where a modern segment is having no answers. That is our forte. That is then my inner ignition, which you say, get deepened. And then we were working on 𝐀𝐲𝐮𝐫𝐝 at that time, which is developed for my mother. Her kidney functions have been preserved with 𝐀𝐲𝐮𝐫𝐝 since a very long time. And then
she was doing well.
She's doing well. Her creatinine is within limits, and we need to be working many years.
So she is following a strict diet also, but
she is following a strict diet.
Hardcore from a Punjabi family, so she's able to do that diet restrictions. Or
no. Everybody has their own some weaknesses. In Punjabi, we say have a chance, which are restricted because the potassium and the salt intake should be less. But still, we manage with the diet also, and along with that, 𝐀𝐲𝐮𝐫𝐝, and along with that, other medications also under the supervision of several doctors.
So I would like to quote here, sorry to interrupt you, and we'll go to the next episode. I would like to quote here on this note, there are two aspects today we have learned, that we should invite your father and mother also on this platform if they allow us.
Yeah.
And we should understand from the words of Mr. 𝐾𝐲𝐮𝐫𝐽, the journey. It's an exciting teaser or trailer you have shown today to us.
Yeah.
And your mother also, at least it will help those thousands and lakhs of CKD patients who are suffering. That a real journey of a CKD patient in last, I think, 2 or 3 decades, I'm wrong.
Two decades, more than 2 decades.
More than 2 decades is a remarkable journey with God's grace and with Mata Rani blessings. I have not seen so many CKD patients in that quality of life.
Yeah.
And so, Prachud, so I think let's have her as well on our platform.
Yeah,
So that I should record this.
mother and my father-in-law also.
Acha.
My father-in-law also, he's also one of the directors in the company, 𝐀𝐲𝐮𝐫𝐽 and he's also suffering from liver.
So have a nice
He had kidney stones in the 90s, the early 90s, and due to that he had recurrent stones, and because of that he developed CKD. And then he is also on 𝐷KFT and managing his creatinine levels, uric acid levels through 𝐷KFT. So 𝐷KFT, our father, he always has this one thinking that if you are, पहले आप अपने घर में check कर लो. If it is working only then correct. So whatever product, if we are not satisfied with the results, it is not launched in the market. We still are working on many products, but we take a lot of time to ensure the results, and only then we launch. And my mother also, not only because of 𝐷KFT, but she has been a pillar to my father, 𝐾𝐲𝐮𝐫𝐽, and since the early age, she was also actively involved. So basically, our HR department, HRD was totally managed by my mother, and she used to have interaction, the relations with the employees, because at the start of the company and having the right kind of people, maintaining them, she had a big role to play in managing those people, and then having the relations with them. And the family relations, because AIMIL is just like a family, and still it is me and Dr. 𝐾𝐲𝐮𝐫𝐽, Dr. Neha Kakkar,
So to assist you here, you definitely record another episode with you. And in the episode 2, guys, you need to understand about Sanchit more, his love for cricket or his passion for cricket. He has a charming love story and wife. We'll talk about those aspects as well for the motivation of the youth today. And then his journey till now, and very important, Ayurveda as a brand. And we also came to know about the veterinary brand which your brother is adding. So we'll talk about all those aspects in the next episode. Thank you.